Right now, while everyone's eyes are glued to Bitcoin's every move, something huge is happening quietly behind the scenes. Smart money. Yes, the same capital that drives billion-dollar trades is moving. But not into Bitcoin. They're accumulating something smaller, faster, and potentially far more disruptive. And history shows when they move in silence like this, massive wealth shifts usually follow.
In this video, you're about to see the proof, real, on-chain evidence that institutions are quietly loading up on one specific altcoin. Not through hype, not through Twitter posts, but through verifiable blockchain activity, spotted only by those who know exactly where to look. And once you see this, you'll understand why the biggest players are betting early on this project and how this moment mirrors the exact moves that came right before crypto's most explosive rallies. But here's the real question. What coin are they buying? And why now, when most retail investors think the altcoin market is completely dead? That's exactly what we're about to uncover, step by step. Let's rewind. It's early 2026. Bitcoin is dominating the headlines again. ETFs, new all-time highs, record inflows, and once again, retail investors are rushing back in, hoping to catch the next big move. But there's one number most people are ignoring: Bitcoin dominance. Right now, it's hovering around 59%. And the last time dominance stayed this high, something big was already forming behind the scenes. A shift, a rotation from Bitcoin into altcoins. You see, markets don't move randomly, they move in cycles. And every cycle follows the same pattern. First, Bitcoin runs, then it slows down. And that's when smart money starts looking elsewhere. Not when things are obvious, but when things feel quiet, boring, almost dead. That's the phase most people ignore. But that's exactly where the biggest opportunities are created. Think about it. In 2018, Ethereum crashed from $1,400 to just $80. At the time, people called it dead. In 2020, Solana was trading for less than $1. Almost nobody cared. Avalanche was barely even known. But just 16 months later, everything changed. Those same projects were everywhere. Headlines, YouTube, mainstream media, and the people who got in early, they didn't follow hype. They followed silence. Because the pattern never changes. When retail investors panic, smart money accumulates. Quietly, patiently, without attention. And then, when Bitcoin cools down, capital starts to rotate. From safety into opportunity. And that exact setup is forming again, right now. And the coin. They're quietly accumulating. It's not what most people expect. It's not Doge. It's not Pepe. It's not driven by hype. It's something very different, something that sits at the intersection of two of the most powerful forces shaping this entire decade: artificial intelligence and blockchain. Two industries that are already transforming the world. Now imagine what happens when they come together. Because this isn't just about another altcoin. This is about infrastructure. The kind of infrastructure that could power the next generation of intelligence. And right now, almost nobody is paying attention. That's exactly what makes this moment so important. So what is this project? What exactly are they accumulating? It's called Bitensor Teo. And right now, most people have no idea what it really is. But smart money does. Because Bitensor is not just another token. It's a decentralized network built for machine learning, a system where AI models compete, learn, and improve in real time. And instead of corporations controlling it, the network rewards participants with TAO. That's what makes it different. It's not based on hype. It's based on performance, real output, real contribution, real value. And that's exactly what institutions are looking for, because for the first time, AI is becoming investable, on-chain. Not through stocks, not through private companies, but through a decentralized network that anyone can access. And once you understand that, you start to see why this matters so much. Now let's break this down. Why are institutions paying attention to this? First, the narrative. Bitcoin proved that scarcity and decentralization create value. Bitensor takes that same idea and applies it to artificial intelligence, a fixed supply, 21 million tokens, a halving mechanism, and real demand coming from AI developers and machine learning models. That's powerful. Second, the timing. The world is waking up to how centralized AI has become. A few companies control everything. The data, the models, the access. And that creates fear, because people are starting to ask, who controls intelligence? And more importantly, who should? That's where decentralized AI becomes a massive opportunity. Third, the proof. Bitensor is not just an idea, it's already live, already functioning, already growing, and recently it got listed on major exchanges. That's not random, that's validation. Because big platforms don't list weak projects, they list things that show real potential. And when you combine all of this, narrative, timing, and proof, you start to understand why smart money is getting involved early. Here's something most people don't want to admit. Retail investors usually follow hype. They wait for confirmation. They wait for headlines. They wait until everyone is talking about it. And by that time, the opportunity is already gone. Smart money does the opposite. They don't chase noise. They look for silence. They look for moments when nobody is paying attention, when charts look boring, when sentiment feels dead. That's where they position, not at the top, but at the beginning. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Bitensor is still under the radar. No mainstream attention, no massive hype cycles, no celebrity promotion. Just quiet accumulation. And if you've been in crypto long enough, you've seen this before. The projects that feel invisible in the early stage are the ones that explode later, because by the time everyone sees it, it's already too late. That's the difference between reacting and positioning. And right now, most people are still reacting. But here's where things get even more interesting. Because what's happening right now is not just another altcoin move. It's something much bigger. Something most people are completely unprepared for, because the data is starting to point toward a much larger shift, not just in crypto, but in how artificial intelligence is built, distributed, and controlled. And if that plays out, Bitensor won't just be another project. It could become a core layer in the future of global AI. And that changes everything, because now you're not just looking at a trade, you're looking at a long-term transformation. And the people who understand this early are the ones who position before the world catches on. Now here's something most people haven't connected yet. Bitensor is not operating alone. It's part of something much bigger, a larger shift, where artificial intelligence and blockchain are starting to merge. And while most people are chasing random tokens, the real infrastructure is being built quietly. Projects that don't just promise hype, but actually connect systems together. Because the future is not one single project. It's an ecosystem where different networks work together. BitTensor as the intelligence layer, other protocols handling data, transactions, and communication, all linking together into one unified system. And when that happens, everything changes because now you're not investing in just one coin. You're positioning yourself inside an entire future network. And that's what smart money sees before everyone else. But let's be real for a moment. Every opportunity comes with risk. Even the strongest projects can fail. Markets change. Narratives shift. Regulations come in. And sometimes things simply don't go as expected. Crypto is still volatile. Prices can move fast, up and down, very quickly. And projects like this are no exception. They can grow fast, but they can also drop hard. And that's where most people make mistakes. They go all in without a plan. They chase momentum without understanding the downside. But smart money doesn't think like that. They manage risk. They stay patient. They never bet everything on a single idea. And that's the mindset you need to build, because opportunity means nothing without discipline. So what should you actually do with all of this information? First, don't rush. The biggest mistake is chasing green candles. Smart money doesn't chase. They wait. They plan. They enter with intention. Second, start verifying. Don't just believe narratives. Look at the data. On-chain activity, network growth, real usage, because the more you understand how the system works, the stronger your conviction becomes. Third, use a strategy, not emotions. Dollar cost averaging is one of the simplest and most effective methods. You build your position slowly over time, not all at once. And finally, think long-term, because opportunities like this don't play out in days. They play out over months, sometimes years. And the people who win are not the fastest. They're the most patient. They're the most prepared. And they're the ones who act before the crowd arrives. Every major shift starts quietly. The internet did. Mobile technology did. And Bitcoin did too. At first, almost nobody understands it. Almost nobody pays attention. And then, suddenly, everyone wishes they had seen it earlier. Right now, you're in that quiet phase, where things don't look exciting, where the opportunity doesn't feel obvious. But that's exactly where everything begins. Because by the time it becomes obvious, it's already too late. And the people who win are the ones who saw it early, who understood it early, and who positioned themselves before the world caught on. So the real question is, are you going to wait for confirmation, or are you going to start paying attention now? Because moments like this don't last forever. And once they pass, they don't come back the same way again. If this gave you a new perspective, make sure to subscribe, because in the next video, I'm going to show you another project that's showing similar early signals. And trust me, you don't want to miss that one. Stay curious, stay patient, and always watch what smart money is doing.